Hello and welcome, my name is Mark, and this is Riffle Shuffle and Roll. Today I'm giving you a look at the Wild Twists playing cards from Mattel. Wait a minute, this isn't by Mattel, this is by Uno. Which makes you wonder, who is Uno? Perhaps the most prolific designer, with more games named after them than any other designer on the planet. Or perhaps there have been so many reinventions of Uno that in some sort of multiversal fracture, this new variant was actually spawned by Uno itself. Perhaps this variant is from Universe 52? This is a 60 card deck. It includes the standard 52 and 8 wild cards. The box informs us that the 8 wild cards change up classics like Go Fish, Poker, and Gin Rummy. It also claims to have a brand new game designed around the deck. We will take a look at those in a moment. Let's dive into the design of the deck. They use an Uno card layout combined with traditional suits and ranks. The back of the card has a fun little design, and the cards have a linen finish that give them a really nice, pleasant feel and a snap when shuffling. Rather than pips, Mattel has opted to use a letter or number based on the rank. For court cards, they use symbols rather than the classic portraits. Some of the symbols they choose are pretty cool. They pay homage to certain aspects of the 52 card deck, though the one-eyed jacks and the one-eyed king are illustrated clearly. And, of course, the infamous Suicide King has been depicted through simple symbolism as well. I think this is a really nice touch. However, like always, Mattel could have done more. The aces are quite plain, and I think they should have been the most ornate cards in the pack. The ace of spades at the very least. How cool would it have been for them to do a really ornamental Mattel logo? Something that pays tribute to traditional deck design. And at the very least, put in some filigree or some sort of filling design, especially on the aces. I think that was a missed opportunity. The 3 reference cards are going to get dinged by me. I look at these 3 cards and I think to myself, what could they have been? They've already started down this path of creating a standard deck of cards with a wild twist, and they left 3 cards behind that could have been like the icing on the cake, or the piece that really ties this deck to Uno. They could have incorporated some fun draw cards or some 3 more cards with powers of some sort, and I think that was a big missed opportunity. What could have been a really wonderfully designed product just kind of comes off as a half effort. They cared enough to make it cool in some ways, but not really go the whole distance. And speaking of half efforts, Mattel has put together some printable rule sheets for classic games that utilize the wild cards. These versions are only slightly interesting, but I still applaud Mattel for doing this, and I applaud them with the hope that they'll keep going down this path. Wild Race is a speed and slapping card game in the same vein of Slapjack and Egyptian Rat Screw, and it's a game specifically created for this deck. I'll have a video for this eventually, but again, I don't think it's anything super innovative, just an interesting option. And that brings us to the wild cards. Each suit has its own wild card that can represent any rank needed in that suit. The black wild card can be any rank in clubs or spades, and the red wild card any rank in hearts or diamonds. Then you've got the wild. These 2 cards can be any card needed, any rank, any suit. It is not the draw 4 that threatens our universe most. It is this unholy wildest of wilds. And that is Wild Twists playing cards deck from Mattel, or created by Uno. I think this is a really interesting product, and I know it's sure to get a lot of eye rolls from traditional gamers or hobby gamers, as most mainstream products do. But I really like it. I also think this is a nice deck for designers. The addition of the 3 categories of wild cards really create nice design perimeters, for people to work within. I think the idea of these limitations really fits well with Gunpei Yokoi's design philosophy. Now, he was the inventor of the Game Boy, and his whole philosophy is using withered technology, withered meaning just technology that is a generation or two older because of its cost effectiveness. But also with that is creating these boundaries for a designer to have to work in. You actually get a more enjoyable experience, a tighter experience, and it is through those perimeters, those boundaries on the design, that the most interesting ideas actually come to fruition. And that is why I love designing games with a standard 52 card deck, or with using jokers sometimes too. 52, 54, 55, those are all somewhat kind of normalized standards that people play with depending on which country you're in. Of course, there are culturally specific decks for, like, there's a German deck and there's a Spanish deck. There are different deck constructions, but the overall idea of 4 suits and a certain number of cards within each suit and perhaps some jokers is that boundary, that perimeter that I like to set up for myself, because I think there's enough there within that deck to create really fun experiences. What kind of characters can the court cards portray? The jacks, the queens, and the kings. What kind of symbolism within those pictures on those court cards can you use to trigger, to help remind people of certain powers or certain characteristics for that card? Like with my game Cupid, the Queen of Diamonds is not a Queen of Diamonds. It's the lowest ranking card, but diamonds can represent beauty, and the Queen of Diamonds represents Anima, who is supposed to be the most beautiful woman on the planet, rivaling Aphrodite. So I think it's a really interesting design space. Now, this Wild Twists playing card deck is not a replacement for the standard 52, not at all. But I think it's a really welcome addition to the domain of traditional card games. And that was the air conditioner. So, as you can see, I am not in my normal studio. I am in transition. We are looking for a house. Hopefully I can get back into my own place soon and not have to work around this kind of stuff. Thank you for your patience with that. Thanks for watching this video. I think this is a really cool product. I found it at Target. I have not seen it anywhere else, including Amazon. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep on playing.